here with Ken Rockwell. Ken, you're going to tell us a story about this print you've got here.
Yeah. I have a print here which has won first place in quite a few competitions and jury exhibits and so forth. And there's two interesting stories about this. The main thing is you see this big purple thing. This is taken at Mono Lake back in 1993. The first half of this is my friends and I were up there shooting at Mono Lake. And after Mount Pinatubo blew in the Philippines, which was a volcano, it put lots of stuff into the air. Sunsets got really blah for a while. But what happened is things got really purple and magenta about 20 minutes afterwards, which is an eerie, interesting effect. So my friends and I were shooting. We've been shooting all day. It was like 9 o'clock at night by the time the sun went down. They're like, we've had it, dude. We're out here. We're going to dinner. We'll catch you later. My thought was, you know, guys, I think something might happen here. I'm going to hang out a little more with my tripod set up and see what I can shoot. And thus I did. And I was right. Things turned magenta. There was no filters used on this image. This is a 4-minute time exposure on a tripod, and I got one of my personally favorite images. And that just goes to show that, you know, you always need to be looking where other people aren't. The other thing is that I also like to talk about is this was shot with a camera that was needed so much repair that it had been repaired 2 or 3 times with the dealer from whom I tried to buy it. They finally wound up just scrapping it, and I did just return my money. But this is a wonderfully technical shot. How did I get this shot? Well, simple. The focus was off. It was misadjusted and somehow was not able to be adjusted properly. Every picture I took was totally out of focus. But I knew that every picture was exactly the same amount out of focus, so I simply would focus using the rangefinder, which is a separate viewfinder part of the camera. And I would then rotate the focus ring a certain amount off to the left to get the focus to be where I wanted it to be. And that's why I got this thing perfectly in focus at f4 on this tripod, as opposed to, you know, somebody else who might say, oh, this camera's no good. The camera was no good. The camera got scrapped, yet I made one of the most famous images of all on a broken camera. Any artist needs to be familiar with his tools, needs to know how to work around the problems and limitations of that tool, and how to correct for things that aren't quite right. If your car constantly steers off to the left, you know to keep pulling it off to the right. That's what I had to do. So there's no whining. It doesn't matter if your exposure meter's off. No exposure meter is perfect. Learn how to use your tool and get to where you need to go, and that's how to get good pictures.
Ken, thanks for telling us that story.
Thank you.
Be sure to subscribe to our blog now to stay updated on my show, and we'll give you tips and insight to keep advancing your photography. Also, check out our guests' website for a closer look at their work. Tune in to our next episode of Advancing Your Photography for an inside look at another photographer's world.